Peace, 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 peace to the family. Hey, what's going on, Auntie Pat? How you doing? How you doing? We're gonna get started real soon. Peace, 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 family, peace, family. We're gonna tap in real soon. We just waiting for ancient aura jewelry to pop in here. Yo, peace, 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 family. We're just waiting for ancient aura jewelry to pop in, then we're gonna get it popping. How's everybody out there feeling tonight? How's everybody feeling? Talk black to me. Talk black to me, you know what I'm saying? We got the incense burning, got the chakra incense burning. You know what I'm talking about? It's gonna be high level conversation tonight. We're gonna talk about black love, black business, black ownership. Ray, what's going on, my guy? My guy, yo. I'm gonna tap into your movie tomorrow, man. I have a review for you by the middle of the week. I'm just waiting for Ancient Aura Jewelry to tap in, and then we're gonna get this party on stop. We're gonna get this party on popping, man. Let's see what a good family is at. Yeah, man. Yo, I'm gonna do a review for you, and I actually want to interview you about your movie. You know, about the role, how it came about, how you felt about it. You know, all that good stuff that has to do with all that. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that you can make it out next weekend, man. It's gonna be a good time. Hey, peace everybody. Yo.
What up?
What's going on, my guy?
We good. We here? We live?
Yeah, we live action, man. Live action, family. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Just had to put these kids, make sure they don't disturb me. Things. Mom and daddy gonna be talking.
You know what I'm saying? Got the incense burning. You know what I'm saying? We cleansing the world right now. You know what I'm saying? Got the incense burning. You know what I'm saying? We cleansing the world right now. Cleansing the world right now. So before we get started, man, how's everything? How's everything been with you? I actually seen you not too long ago before all this started. We had the photo shoot out in Brooklyn.
Yeah, the photo shoot came out great. You see the pictures came out great.
Yeah.
You know, then this whole thing hit and it was kind of confusing, but a lot of people don't know because everybody was online and everybody was on their phone. Business actually picked up, especially for a lot of black business owners. So, you know, it definitely had me a little extra busy. So it was like a blessing in disguise for a lot of online business owners.
Absolutely. So for people that don't know, this isn't just because I am doing the live with them, yo. Honestly, people, y'all know me. You know me, my personal life. I rep every day. Like, those is my people. So, like, I just rep every day, man. That's just my normal life, man. That's just my normal life. You know what I'm talking about? So let's touch on. So you said that businesses has picked up since the whole COVID case has gone on. Has there been any specific pieces that people have clinged on to, or has it just been overall?
It really has been overall. You know, it seems like everything I bring out usually sells. So it's like, you know, it's almost like I can't lose sometimes, you know. But once you know your audience and you know what your people like, it becomes no brainer. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Absolutely.
You know, people are gravitating to the culture now more than ever. People want to know about their culture, and people want to, you know, they're so emotional about it, and they want to. People literally wear their emotions on their sleeves or on their necks.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so the more we become aware about our culture, the more we're gonna, you know, associate our outerwear or our clothes or our accessories with our culture too.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100% because when I'm on the street walking, I have been stopped plenty of times. People asking me about the pieces from Ancient Aura Jewelry. Like, plenty of people, hey, where did you get that from? What does this mean? What is that? And that this happens on a regular. This is very regular that happens, especially with this. Especially when they see the Jaguar, when they see the Golden Jaguar. Oh, man, I always get stopped and asked about the Golden Jaguar. But so let me ask you a question. When you started Ancient Aura Jewelry, were you already with your queen, or was it something that y'all did on separate terms that came together, or was y'all together with this from the beginning?
Now we've been together for a minute, so
Okay.
and
Okay.
like I said, this is not my first business. You know, she has her own coaching business. That's not her. That's not her first business. So we've been doing this entrepreneur thing since like 2011.
That's what's up.
So yeah, so this is not an overnight success. This is something we've been navigating, learning about since for about basically 10 years now.
Yeah.
So it's not something something like this. It's not something you can like just learn overnight. Some people can, but it didn't happen with me. You know what I'm saying? I failed, and finally I failed forward and learned how to do it correctly.
Okay. So so we know that is important to represent our culture, on our sleeve, on our neck, knowing our culture. So, but what was, because like you said, you and the Queen had been in business before. This is not your first rodeo. What was it that made you turn to jewelry, that made you want to go forward with jewelry to be like, yo, this is it, man. This is it.
Before I was doing t-shirts. So
Okay.
I had this brand called Get Out the Box TV Apparel. So I was doing t-shirts, and I taught myself how to do Photoshop and how to design t-shirts. And I was actually making the t-shirts myself. I had in my mother's basement, I had the whole setup. I had the printer, I had the heat press. I was doing all that, but it took too much work. I was still trading my time for money because I was doing it all myself. And with t-shirts is, it's hard to it's easier to flip jewelry than it is to flip t-shirts, because with t-shirts,
Really?
because like I said, with t-shirts, the more variations you have, the more you're going to lose money. Because with t-shirts, you can have 100 t-shirts, but if you don't have the right size, you just lost a customer.
True.
So, and with especially with women, you got extra small, you got small, you got all the way up to double X, triple X, also with guys as well.
Absolutely.
So you gotta have every size in stock consistently, else you're gonna lose a customer. So with jewelry, all you have to have is the pendant and the variations in chain sizes.
Yeah.
So the more variations you have in the industry, the less cost effective it's going to be.
Okay. What year did Ancient? Well, I can imagine this has been a brainchild for a while. So if you can, when did y'all first come up with the name Ancient Aura Jewelry, and how long between that time that y'all made like that first decision, like, all right, this is where we're going? How long did it take for you to actually take those thoughts and actually manifest them?
It probably took about 6 months. Like, I was at one point, because I used to work at the post office.
Okay.
I was working at the post office in Harlem. And yeah. So, I was I was, and I had a good route. My route was good. And I was working, my route was on 136, 137, and 138 between Lenox and St. Nick. That was my route.
Okay.
So if anybody on this live in Harlem, they probably know me. So I was working at the post office. I did the post office for about 12 years.
Okay.
But I knew that there was no light at the end of the tunnel for the post office, because I was making about 60 to 70,000, and I knew the head manager in the station was only making about 80 to 90,000. And even if you're making 80, 90,000 in New York City, you still live in check to check. So even if I'm saying that's higher than the supervisor, that's higher than all the supervisors. So even the postmaster is only making about 120,000. And I'm like, even if I reach the top in the post office, I'm still going to be living check to check. I'm saying my kids got to go to college. I'm saying I want to live a lifestyle. I want to retire at a decent age. You know what I'm saying? So when I was working at the post office, So when I was working at the post office, and I was doing T-shirts, and after I did my shift at the post office, I would go to my mother's house, where I had the whole setup in her basement, wasting her electricity crazy because the heat press take a lot of electricity. And I was doing that. And I was like, no, it just take too much time. So I was like, there's got to be another way. So one day I was looking for a pendant, and I realized nobody really had the design that I wanted. And so I was searching and searching, and then I found a company that had the type of jewelry that I wanted, but I realized it was a Jewish-owned company. So basically, they was stealing our culture, not even calling the names the way it should be called, calling it pulling, Ankh Egyptian crosses, stuff like that.
That hurt. There's certain things that just, I can accept certain things, but there's just certain things it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Exactly. So, I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? I could do this, and I could do it better, and I could do it our way, the right way.
So talk black to me. Talk black to me.
And so, when I was looking up how to do it, I was like, you know what? I could just take my T-shirt designs, and the same way I was designing T-shirts, just flip it and design jewelry. And so when I found the manufacturer that they even mess with, so the same manufacturer they use, I use.
Okay.
So,
nice.
You know what I'm saying? So I just had to create the designs. And I remember, my first investment, I used my credit card because, we're not getting no loans for nothing. So when I used my credit card, so it was like, a $700 to $800 investment I had to charge on my credit card. And I remember the day I was sitting in bed with my wife, and I'm like, because I think that was the max on my credit card as well. So I was like, I'm about to max this card out. You ready? And she was like, do it. And we did it. And, we've just been running from then.
I'm talking about nature rewards the bold. You know what I'm saying? You gotta spend some money, take some money, and calculated risk are definitely worth it, man. Definitely worth it. Cause I remember buying my first piece from Ancient Aura in 2016. And ever since then, man, y'all always show love, man. Y'all always show love, man. I think after, I remember it was the summertime I bought that piece. I think we were doing a photo shoot. Maybe that next season. It wasn't too long ago after I first bought my first piece that you hit me up in the DMs like, yo, we got a photo shoot. And I was just like, what?
That was the year it started. 2016 was the year I started. Ancient Aura Jewelry. That was the first year. That was year number one.
Man. I'm one of the first original customers. We'll talk about it. So I mean, it seems kind of obvious, but there had to be a specific reason. Why did you choose the name or why did y'all choose the name Ancient Aura Jewelry?
Well, while I was in Harlem, I was taking a lot of definitely a lot of the culture, and I was taking a lot of the comedic classes. I was taking numerology classes. I was taking, going to all the lectures in Harlem. Because after work, I was, I'm already here. Let me go hit up a lecture. Let me go to 125th. Let me listen to the God speak. So I was taking in all this culture while I was working there. And then I was like studying numerology at the time.
Shout out to King Simon.
And
shout out to King Simon.
basically that was my teacher, King Simon. Yeah. And I was, bought King Simon books, Lord Strayhorn books, and I was looking for the name that basically aligned with the numbers I wanted to associate with. So Ancient Aura Jewelry, when you do the numerology, it adds up to the number 7. Number 7, of course, is the number of God.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I picked that name. Of course, ancient means old or aboriginal or something like that. Aura is the energy or vibe or spirit you carry. So I wanted that original aura. I wanted that ancient aura. I wanted that black aura. And so, to associate with original man, basically. So it was basically it was very intentional.
Yes.
It was literally a spell I did with the spelling.
Yeah.
Because I associate with the numbers with the letters. So the spelling of it basically associated with God. And that's why I wanted to do it, because I wanted to get that spirit into the jewelry.
That's super dope. Oh, I love that. I love that.
And then I picked the colors black and gold because black is associated with original man. Black is also associated with elegance. Black is also associated with richness as well.
Yes.
Luxury, and also luxury.
Yeah.
Luxury, mysterious. Black is also associated with the number 0. And anytime you put a number next to 0, it makes the number even greater. So you put a bunch of numbers next to the number 1, you go from 1 to 1 million, 1 billion exactly. You put 0 next to any number, it makes the number greater. You put black next to any color, it makes the color shine brighter.
Yes, sir. So black to me.
So I put, I use the colors black and gold, and I use gold because I wanted my aura to be the golden aura, which is the highest. And so that's how I came up with the name. That's how I came up with the colors. So it was very intentional.
That's what's up. I figured that it was very intentional, but it just is dope to know the exact history behind it and numerology. That's super dope. I really love the pieces that you have, especially the Big Haru. I seen that you just not that you just did that, but I really admire the Marcus Garvey. Are there any plans for any Anpu, any Tahuti pieces coming? Is that possible?
Well, I have. This is the thing, right? I wanted a Tahuti piece, right? But I don't think the people are ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Sometimes it's difficult when you're dealing with certain symbols and signs. Sometimes if people aren't ready for the product, you're going to be a broke entrepreneur. You get what I'm saying? So you got to meet the customer in the middle. You can't go over the customer's head unless they're not going to buy it. You're going to be a broke entrepreneur. So you have to sometimes wait for the majority or the masses to catch up to the science first. Then you can bring the pieces out. Even with that Asar piece you have on, that piece does not sell. It doesn't sell. The piece you have on right now.
Wow, they don't know who Asar. Wow.
Exactly, and that's actually my favorite piece, and it really doesn't sell.
This go back to what I was saying earlier. when I wear this in the street, people are like, it's familiar to them, but they don't really know what it is. Like, they're just like, I've seen that before, but they don't
Yeah.
exactly know. They don't know when they see it. They don't see a reflection of themselves. Like, before the whole COVID thing, I told you I was working at the Rose Mansion. So we have a whole room dedicated to Kemet. And I would notice, especially like with us, when melanated people walk in there, there was sort of a disconnect. They would walk in there and they wouldn't really see themselves in that room. Sometimes they would see themselves and they would look at it as if it's this distant land they're not connected to. And I would always take that time to try to, put in my little information in between the time, hey, take this drink, but yeah, this is us and da 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 da. So I can definitely understand that, and just hearing it from you, like, wow, like people really don't, they don't know.
People like it. People like it when they see it, but since like you said, they're not educated on it, they're not going to purchase it because a confused mind doesn't buy.
This is true.
So that's why you have to use just the more familiar pieces first, and then bring them along a journey until they get more comfortable. Because a lot of times, when you deal with our history, it could seem kind of scary to us. And so a lot of so when you get more esoteric into the sciences, people, you can, it can make people feel a certain way because it's unfamiliar to them. So you gotta be, you gotta tread lightly, make sure you don't lose your customer. And just because, you hear me?
My bad. I'm here. I'm looking at. We got a question from Mr. Cameron.
Okay.
One, isn't that where marketing comes into it? Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna let you take this too, but just going to what Jay said. Like, we were talking about the Tahuti pieces. Honestly, people, if you don't know who Tahuti is, you're not gonna appreciate the value that his story brings forth. So, like you said, you'll end up being a broke entrepreneur. Even going back to this Asar joint, like, people are familiar with it, that it looks familiar with them, but they don't really understand the value in this piece. They don't understand why I wear this piece more than any of it, like, and what it represents and how it's a reflection of
exactly.
us. So I mean,
because
Mr. Cameron, my bad. Go ahead.
To answer this question, people buy with their emotions, right? And so if you're not emotionally connected to the science or to the image, you're not going to buy it. And yes, you can market it. And yes, I can market it to create the emotion, but it's a lot harder to sell. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to work, 10 times as hard to sell a product. I don't want to, keep marketing and keep trying to educate somebody on something when I can just, sell something they're more familiar with. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of resources to sell a new product that people aren't familiar with. Yeah. So it just, and like I said, it can seem kind of scary, and you may lose a lot of customers if you are too ahead of your time.
This is true.
You can't always sell a product that people aren't ready for, no matter even if it benefits them or not.
That's a fact.
There's been a lot of
No, go ahead.
There's been a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people with great inventions, but they were too ahead of their time, and they were too ahead of the people. And so, a lot of people don't get appreciated until 10, 20 years late, or 100 years later, like, oh yeah, but then he died broke. He died broke, and he died unappreciated until the people were ready for the information.
I agreed 100%. I was gonna bring it back to, you said, you used to go to a lot of the lectures, and we might have seen each other before we even got connected through the ancient aura thing, because I used to go to all the lectures and all that stuff before, and I was really into the Moors. Not saying that I'm not more, but I was really into Moorish history, and some people are open to it, but like you said, a lot of people are scared of it because they don't really know. Like, a lot of people just don't know about the Moors, especially when you go into the depth of how they lied about everything. And I feel like I bring that up because, what we're going through now in the world, kind of going, a lot of people are waking up to things. You know what I'm saying? They're open to a lot of things. And I feel like that Moorish history now would be something that will be relevant to today. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the people are starting to be more, because they're looking for something. And I feel like that information will kind of be more relevant today of, the things that we're going through this mass awakening, and people realizing that this government may not necessarily or ever had our best interests at heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one of the first lectures I went to when I started working was Taj Tariq Bey, and I used to go to his. I used to go to his on the whatchamacallit. Damn, I forgot where it was at. It was on 124th and like 5th Avenue.
The National Black Theater?
Yeah, the National Black Theater. I used to go there like every Monday. I think they used to have.
They did, yep.
So I was there like every Monday getting information, buying the pamphlets, getting all that information in. So we definitely probably came across each other. Definitely. But yeah, that information is definitely relevant now, especially in regards to the class. The legality is dealing with what's going on with today. How we need to handle things more on a lawful level, and a legal level, than just going out on the streets. Both is correct, but we need to do both. We need to handle that paperwork.
Absolutely.
That paperwork was very important in the Moorish community, and I think we need to take that in and use it a lot more.
I absolutely agree, and I feel like the people are now they're more open to taking on that type of information. Somebody just asked a question. I want to. Can we not have the Black celebrities as a target audience, as we know the people will follow and see the symbolism? Well, my thing with celebrities and stuff like that is I want to personally, for everybody that's listening to, when it comes to celebrities, lower your expectations. I mean, this is not nothing new. When you can go back to Malcolm X saying, we're the only community that kind of looks for our celebrities to be like spokesperson. Like he was talking about back in his day, he was talking about Dick Gregory and Lena Horne, all of them. He's like, why are you looking for them? Even though Dick Gregory did end up becoming a spokesperson, but he's like, why are you looking to them to be a spokesperson? You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of us would like to look at rappers and it'd be like, yo, but they're on the track and they bang it, but it's just like they are connected to that same entity that you want to bring down. So they're not going to risk their money in saying all the overt truth because they're still connected to it. It just as an example, like if the NBA was doing some BS, LeBron is only going to speak to it to a certain extent because he's still getting his money from the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So
and a lot of, like you said, we have to lower our expectations when it comes to celebrities, because subconsciously we think just because they have money, they have knowledge and access, which is definitely not true.
Facts.
A lot of people associate money with knowledge, or money with access, and we think they know a lot more than we do, and that's not true. But also, I do believe if you become a celebrity, you automatically become a role model. The two cannot be separate.
That's true.
And so I do think you do owe the people whatever you can give them when you are thrown into the limelight.
Agreed. I agree with that 100%. And I want to touch on something that you just said, because I think that's so important right now. So you said, when people see money, they automatically associate it with intelligence and them being tapped in. And I think right now, during this time period, during this lockdown, that we have seen that put into people's faces. Like, just because they're on TV and they got all these hundreds of thousands of followers and they got all this money in the bank, that does not equate to them being intelligent. If anything, we are really seeing, without their lights, without their makeup crew, you know, not for fun even. A lot of them are not really that attractive, and more importantly, they're not really that smart. They're not. Like, look at the things they're talking about. They're not having high level conversations. They're not having high. They don't really have anything really to add on to the current situation except for parroting what they're hearing on the news, which we all know is
because
BS. You know what I'm saying?
and this is something we also got to get out of our minds. We still associated money with the so-called Illuminati. So if you associate money with Illuminati only means to be enlightened. So we think they have money, they're part of Illuminati, they must know all the answers, or they got secret knowledge to what's going on, which is definitely not true. We have those idealisms out the window.
More than anything now, I mean, especially like when you know the science of it, like they're just taking our science and flipping it. They're taking a lot of our stuff and just misrepresented it. And even recently now, like I've always been a fan of, you know, red pill and blue pill, but I can say like I've really been tapped into them like a lot more over like the last 5 months. And I can say from firsthand account that them brothers have said things that, you know, like in January and December, as far as like this whole COVID things that are going to go out, and it has happened. Maybe not exactly how they said it, but pretty much. Like if you go back and just watch their tapes, it's just like, oh, yeah, that them brothers is right on. That just goes back to, you know, what you're saying, with people just having that access to the information. I feel like now it's kind of an excuse. I feel like people are just putting their head in the sands now. Before I could understand, we got work, you traveling, you doing all the shows and all that. But now, when we all kind of just at home, we're all on social media a lot more. It's like, nah, family, you're choosing to ignore this because there's a lot of solutions out there. There's tons of solutions and tons of people out there actually, you know, doing the work.
There's people are putting their heads in the sand, or a lot of people are suffering from too much information. And with too much information, you get paralysis analysis, or analysis paralysis, however you say it, where you just say, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to stand still and try to survive the best way I can. And because they don't really see, because there's so much fear-based information out there, they feel like there's nothing I can do. So even if they do have the knowledge, they're getting too much fear-based knowledge and are just stuck in a standstill. And I, you know, even with a lot of posts that are on Instagram now, a lot of us are still posting too much fear-based information, whether it be true or not. It's not a balance of, you know, inspiration and actually fear-based information.
Agreed. Oh, I agree with you 100% on that. I think, unfortunately, the fear-based posts and those fear kind of things, like, you know, oh, the Illuminati did it. It's easier to go into that direction, because when you step into the truth, you have to take on the responsibility. It's like, you know, if you know better, then now you have the responsibility to do better. But if you can kind of just easily put that off into this quote unquote group that's controlling it. And I'm not trying to take anything away from. We all know the 1% in the shit that they do with the banks, the government. You know, I'm not taking anything away from them, but at the same time, I'm not giving them all this power.
Exactly.
I'm not giving them all this power.
I'm not going to sit on the sideline, even though the game may seem rigged. I'm still going to play the game, and you know, I'm gonna reach to a higher level that I can, so I can have the resources to improve the community, to educate the community, and to put my family in a better position. You know, sometimes, you know, when I was working at the post office, I used to say, you know, I just want a job where I can make enough money to pay my bills and survive.
Yeah.
But you know, and a lot of people just want that. I just want enough money so I can just pay my bills. And when I came to the realization that is a mentality of lack, and it's a selfish perspective, and it's a fear-based perspective as well, because it's a selfish perspective, because the more money you have, the more people you can help. So when you say, I just want to take care of me and my family, that's a selfish mentality that is based in survival only, me and mine.
Facts. I absolutely 100% agree with that. And I also agree with that more because I used to have that same mentality. Like, oh, well, I just want a job so I can just take care of my bills and go on vacation when I want to. Because, I don't have any kids or anything like that. So I don't really have, I got nieces and nephews, but it's just like, all right, yeah, I can come by there, buy them outfit, and just be on my way. And it's just like, no. That is very much a selfish mentality to have. I think a Western society kind of mentality have. I think it kind of have like that Darwinism, that by survival of the fittest mentality, when that's been proved to be completely untrue. Humans do not operate on a survival of the fittest. We operate in nature. We operate in cooperation. That's how we get shit done, by cooperating with each other. You were talking about the post office, and we know that you and the Queen are a Black-owned business. So can you speak about the difference of how you felt just as a man, as a person, kind of your spirit when you were working at the post office, to now being an owner, being an entrepreneur with your queen, and speak about the differences between that.
Yeah, when I was at the post office, I had that survival mentality. Just going to wake up, going to work, fighting traffic. It puts you in a mentality where you don't see anywhere out, because it's you against the supervisors, and then it's you against this person. And because it's a job, it creates a community of, a lot of times, fear and lack. Everybody's trying to do as least work as possible and clock out as soon as possible. So nobody's really working together. Everybody's talking about themselves and how they feel and what they want to do. Because when you're at the post office, the work has to get done. And if you don't do the work gets passed down to the next person. Because either way, the work got to get done. So when you're at a job like that, everybody's in survival mode. So you really can't progress and elevate in your survival mode, because everybody's a product of their environment.
Yeah.
So even other situations, even if you live in certain neighborhoods, if you're part of certain families that are constantly negative, you're going to be a product of your environment. So now, in order to get out of that, you have to create an internal environment in order to raise above your outside environment. So you have to, so when I mean internal environment, you have to make sure you read certain books. You have to make sure you're following certain people that elevate you on Instagram, because that's a part of your environment as well.
Facts.
The music you listen to. So therefore, your internal environment can elevate you and put you in a different situation. And then when your internal environment is greater, it will eventually reflect into your outer environment.
100% agree. I think it's very important, especially now that we're all on social media a bit more due to the current situations. I always encourage people, like, all right, listen, there have been people, there are opportunists when situations come like this, that they just want to come around and benefit, unfortunately, off our death, because Black death is real big money. So I always encourage people, like, you need to be tapped into people who are about this life before, during, and after. People because like you said, that's very important. The music you listen to, what you consume, what you listen to, like, that's important. If some people like to say, I don't want to be on social media, so negative. Yeah, it can be, but who are you following? Who are you giving your energy to? Who are you watching on your timeline? Because I learned so much from the people that I follow, whether it be about business, whether it be about history, whether it be about health. I'm always learning. Every time I tap into my social media, every single day, no exaggeration, I am learning something new because of the people that I'm following. Like,
yeah. Before you get rich, you have to have a rich mentality. Before you have positive friends and family, you got to feel positive about yourself. You got to feel secure about yourself. And then it reflects into your outer world. Somebody said in the comments, this is why family is important. But family, some people have dysfunctional families. Some people's households are dysfunctional. And so that's why it's important to have, a good, clear mind on what you want to become and who you want to be. And once you agree to that, and are disciplined in that and create that environment inside your mind, you'll get outside your dysfunctional environment. And I know
Absolutely.
it sounds mystical, but it's very true.
It's very applicable. I mean, what you're saying is it does sound for certain minds it may sound mystical, but what you're saying is very practical. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to get yourself right, so you can't do right by anybody else if you're not doing right by yourself. Because what you're doing just end up you're avoiding your own you're avoiding your own stuff to try to put it onto somebody else. And to speak on what that person said about family being important, I absolutely think family is important. And listen, like you said, some people come from broken families or dysfunctional families or family members that just don't have their best interests at heart. Your family members are not somebody that you're necessarily blood related to. Your family members are the people that you spend the most time with. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I feel that way. Like I'm in business with my boys. Like, I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm in business with my boys. Like that's we got a wrestling company. You know what I'm saying? Because I spend the most time with them. Like I love my family, but I spend more time with them because we live closer and we're just more on that business wave.
And here's another thing, right? You have to understand this from a business perspective. Mm-hmm. Your family members are not your ideal customers. So a lot of people, become frustrated when they create a business and their family and friends don't support. But your family and friends are not your ideal customers. Yeah. So and also they are looking you from a certain perspective. They are looking at you as the person before the business. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of times, not intentionally, mm-hmm. but they will hate on you and not, support you because they already see you as a person that before the business, because this is it. I guess to go a little bit deeper into it, it's all about status. It's all about mm-hmm. status, right? And even in the animal kingdom, it's all about status. Mm-hmm. And when you get successful and start to do something out the box, you are challenging other people's status who are around you. Because if they see you make it, it's going to question themselves on how they're still stagnant. So even in the Lion Kingdom, the Monkey Kingdom, mm-hmm. everybody, they all fight each other and challenge each other. Everybody has a certain position, in that community, and they all challenge each other. And when somebody starts to rise in status, there's going to be some hate. But you have to stop looking at it as hate and looking at it as human nature or animal nature. And you have to understand human beings are animals first before they're humans. They you rise up to a human being, but their natural disposition is to those animal instincts. And so therefore, when you start a business and you become successful, expect ridicule, expect to be laughed at, expect to be, all sorts of things to try to bring you back down to their status. Because when you start to raise in status, it causes stress for them. So now for them to get their bodies back to a balanced state, they have to bring you down or create reasons on why you elevated and they're still here. Anytime your body gets out of homeostasis, it has to find a way of homeostasis means a comfortable disposition. Okay. Or what's familiar to them. So anytime you cause somebody stress, they are going to find a reason. It's a natural instinct to hate. So don't look at it as hate almost when your family and friends start to ridicule you when you start to, because they're not going to understand what you're doing because they know you as is or as was. And when you start to become, it's going to stress them out and they're going to react in a certain way. Majority of the people.
This is a fact. That's very ironic that you brought that up. So I was at my sister's house last night and my uncle, yeah, he recovered from COVID, but he's still not doing that well. And I had to catch myself because I got offended. I'm just like, sis, do you not see do you not see me with this gold water and this sea moss and all this, like I'm offended. Like, what? You didn't holler at me? Why are you? What are you doing? Were you going to CVS? Were you listening to the doctor? Why are you not coming to me? And I had to check myself. Like, wait, hold on. All right, put emotions to the side. She's still looking at me. Yes, her little brother is growing up. Yes, she sees her little brother as a businessman, but I just don't think that she sees me even though I'm a living embodiment of my health and products, it just goes back to that status. It goes back to looking at that person, looking at the person first instead of looking at the business. Now, maybe if I was a friend of the family, then it would be a different thing. Like, okay,
no, but
I'm gonna check
how people's minds work. We all have biases, right? And what a lot of people have in their mind is an authority bias, meaning if you're not an authority figure, I'm not going to take in the information you're saying. So you can say, take this, take that, but you don't have a white coat on. You don't have a degree in this specific area. So if somebody with a white coat on or had a certain position said it, they will accept and take that information and use it the next day or the next minute.
Absolutely.
So, you have to even, I studied, all spiritual texts. I studied a lot of spirit, going to these different lectures and taking those. Understanding marketing, advertising has taught me more about people than most spiritual texts has taught me. Because now I understand how to direct people, and I understand how people's minds work. And I understand that it is really just a reaction of human nature when people, react certain ways. And then you don't start to take it personally anymore.
Yeah.
Even like if you have a business and you're dealing with marketing, right? And just to use that an authority bias. Now, so when you have a business, now you want to create a platform for yourself where you are deemed as not only professional, but a specialist in that area. You also want to take pictures with yourself on stage and post them on social media, because when you're on stage, you're elevated. So it creates, even in the mind, that you're above everybody because you're on top of the stage and everybody's looking down at you. So people do that. It's not just for better visuals, is to make you seem as more important and as an authority figure.
Yeah,
so when you learn these certain marketing techniques, and because I was more, I was in that spiritual realm, and now I'm in the business realm. I can now attach the business and attach it directly to spirituality and see how they both are basically the same in one, if that makes any sense.
No, that definitely does, because very much like a lot of the things you're saying are really resonating with me, because very much in the spiritual now. I'm definitely turning the corner into the business market, and I'm really seeing a lot of the similarities between the two, and how you speak to people, how you get about it. Not necessarily what you say, it's how you say it, how you approach them with it, how you package it. That has a lot to do with it. So I understand that 100%. And it was funny because I got offended by that. I put my feelings to the side, and then one of my brother-in-law's friend came over, and I sold him some of the silver, and he just came over, yo, man, I've been using that silver, and I've been feeling good, and I'm spraying on this, and I'm spraying on this, and I just kind of look at her, like I just kind of look at my sister, just kind of raise my eyebrows, just like, just saying, you know what I mean? I'm just saying.
But also, she doesn't believe you. If she believed you, right, she would take that information in. And so even like I said, even in business, you have to have social proof. So that's why if you look at my post on Instagram, the social proof I have is the people wearing my jewelry.
Facts.
Because if I would say, yo, this is quality jewelry and it feels good, it feels and it's, you know, defined and everything like that. If I just show the picture of it, people will still question it. But once I come out with social proof after social proof after social proof, people are going to believe me more. So like I said, when people question my advice just offhand and they don't believe me, I don't take it personally no more. I just show them the proof that is there, boom, boom, bow, and then they're going to start to resonate with them.
Yeah.
Because we have to have a barrier in our mind so we just don't accept all the bullshit. So we're not just so open-minded that our brains fall out. So, and a lot of people's barriers are thicker than others, you know,
Yeah.
but a lot of it is just human nature. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Nah, that's definitely a fact. That's definitely a fact. That's definitely a fact. So as we start to wind down here a little bit, you started in 2016. Business has been booming. I remember actually about a year and a half to 2 years ago, I was actually like really starting to I was interested in getting into t-shirts, and I want to say thank you. I don't know if it was you or wife that I was talking to, but you definitely told me to like believe in my own ideas because I was interested in
In
something.
fact, let me bring the wife on. Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah, bring on.
Trina.
How's everybody feeling out there? Y'all got any questions? Please tap in. Please tap in if you got any questions.
Little girl, you wanna
Hi.
you wanna be interviewed too,
Hey,
little
what's
girl?
going on? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm
say
doing
hello?
well. I'm doing well.
Uh,
What's your name?
What's your name? All right, go play your game.
See you later. I was just saying to Jay. I think it was about maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I was messaging and I was just like, hey, you know, I want to make clothes, you know, for you guys. And like, you were just very encouraging me. Like, you were just like, yo, you should like take that idea that you have and like do it for yourself. And, you know, it's, I always like to say, I'm a light manifester. You know what I'm saying? I have an idea. I may sit on it for a little bit and then it manifests later. Right now, we're currently manifesting a t-shirt company, but you know, I just really wanted to say thank you for that because you know, I needed that push. Like, yeah, just you got the idea, so go do it.
Yeah.
Do it yourself.
I think, you know, most of us need to be surrounded by people who are going to encourage us. And when you've been on a personal journey where you've started things and haven't been encouraged, you're a little more sensitive to knowing when you need to like pour into somebody else, right? Or motivate them or give them something that they need to kind of just get started. Because a lot of the times we're just afraid to really do it or we don't have the know-how. So I'm always like what do you call it? Like putting batteries in everybody's back. Sometimes too much so. But I'm always like, yeah, do it. If you fall on your face, you fall and you get back up.
It's better to try and fail than just to stand still. At least you know you went the wrong direction. That's not the way to go. And that's basically, like I said, how I became, you know, successful in a way is just by bumping my head and say, oh, that's not the way. Time to go this way. Boom. Oh, not that way. Let's go this way. And eventually you will find your way and bump your head less. But you got to bump your head to find out how business works because there is no secret to success. There's no key to it. Everybody does it differently. If you ask anybody how they became successful, you're going to find, if you ask 10 people, you're going to find 10 different answers.
Yes. Agreed. So I asked Jay how he came about to the ancient. I know that y'all have been together. From your side, what was the defining moment that you were just like, all right, this is ancient aura jewelry, and we're gonna go forward with this. This is because he told me that you also, you know, this isn't your first rodeo, that you've had other businesses. But what was the defining moment that was just like, you know what, this is it, and this is what we're gonna go forward with?
So I think for me, we come from two different backgrounds, kind of. Like he comes from, you know, a 2-parent working class household. And I come from a little bit more of an urban environment. So my father was a hustler from in the 80s and 90s. And so I never saw him like work a 9 to 5 or live that type of normal lifestyle. In my eyes, he was an entrepreneur. He ran numbers when he was really early on in his career. He did get into the drug game and he hustled for like my entire adolescence. And I would see him come into contact with some of the people in the neighborhood. I'm from St. Albans, Queens, Jamaica, Queens, who were like heavy hitters, really big players in the community. And so entrepreneurship was always something that I gravitated towards. And I have to be honest, like I never had a job that I felt like I was going to stay at. It always felt like a stepping stone to something bigger and something better for me. And I think I actually was the first one who started a business. And we talked about it. He had, when Slowbucks was still doing their thing, he had like some people from his neighborhood who started something and gained popularity. And I was like, that's dope. I'm going to try to do something like that with my friends. But then once he got into a position where he decided to do it, he perfected it, right? And he mastered sort of more of the detail-oriented things of the business, and it became successful. So I was always like, well, we're bigger than this 9 to 5 shit. Like, you know, we're better than this. Let's do something more.
Because I was working at the post office. She was actually,
I was working for MTA.
She was working for the MTA. So it's not like we had some bullshit job that we just quit.
That was
I'm saying these are positions like, you know, we
that you retire from.
And people like, you crazy?
Yeah.
You know, benefits, healthcare, blah, blah, blah. You know, so we was like really bugged out in other people's eyes when we decided to quit our jobs.
Yeah, like even family members, even coworkers were like, oh my God, you should just stay here for 20 years and retire and then do the little thing you want to do. And I was like, I'm out.
Even though the coworker also knows we're both miserable.
Right. Neither one of us want to be here.
Neither of us want to be here.
That's what I was going to speak on.
Right.
That's what I was going to speak on. I was like, you know, you can like, you know, I know a lot of your family members and your friends and your coworkers are just like, wait, MTA and post office, those are the perfect jobs. I'm like, nah, our happiness. Our happiness is our perfection, okay? Because we can make all this money and 401k and all that and still just be dead inside. And still be dead inside.
Completely. And I saw it every day.
Little ones,
And, you know, when you talk about kids, I think when you become a parent, your perspective on so many things changes because the life that you're living is really what you're passing down to your children. And I knew for me, I was like, I don't want to give this lifestyle to my kids. I want to at least give them a visual of what's possible so they can then perfect it and expand on doing it for themselves when they get to that point.
Matter of fact, my grandfather had a city job. My father had a city job. And now all of a sudden I have a city job. So I know when I'm looking at the pattern and I'm looking at my son, I'm like, all right, I see where this is going. And more likely he's watching me every day. When he grows up, if I don't do something or try something, he's going to have a city job and be miserable like my grandfather was, even though he provided for his family. My father, you know, he worked 37 years for the MTA. And, you know, a year after he retired, he died. So I'm looking at the path of my, you know, of my genetics and realizing this is not the way. This is not the way.
100%. 100, yeah, because definitely, like you said, our kids are going to, you know, they don't do what they say. I don't have any kids, but I know kids. They're not going to do what we say. They're going to do as we do. They're going to watch our actions and emulate our actions. So I'm so happy that you know, those weren't bad positions. They always say things run in the family, but y'all make sure to stop that. Like, this is where the run ends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right. Because it's unconscious.
So I don't want to cut you off, but the live is ending, and oh my gosh, what are you paying attention? We are 20 seconds down. Can you please tell the people where they can find you at?
Well, you know, ancientorajewelry.com, or find me on the gram at ancient.aura.jewelry.
At She Is Phyla on every social platform.